Hi there, I'm Amy,
And I'm Sue.
and we're the mother-daughter duo behind Chatter Matters.
Each week, we're going to be chatting through everyday challenges and how we navigate them as two women from different generations.
So get yourself comfy, grab your cup of tea or coffee, and let us show you why Chatter Matters. Hello and welcome back to Chatter Matters.
Hello, everybody. We are here again in Amy's house.
Amy's house, Amy's flat.
Sorry, Amy's flat. So if it's a little echoey on the sound, then
Yes.
forgive us because it's still quite empty.
It is still quite empty. I could probably count the pieces of true furniture I have on one hand. So, well, furniture that I own, certainly on one hand. Furniture I've borrowed, begged, stolen from other people. Potentially we might make it onto two.
But you're getting there, hey. So why don't we do a bit of a check-in
Yes.
before we decide to talk about the subject that we're going to
Yes.
chat about. We decided that we might talk about dating.
Dating.
We mentioned it in our first episode about it was one of the things that with Amy moving out, we're both single.
Yeah.
Is that something that we would start to pursue? And so we thought it might be useful to chat about where are we at with the prospect.
And I'm quite excited to hear where you're at the prospect as well. Like, I feel like you and I haven't, like, it must have been at least 2 weeks since we last spoke about it. So I'm excited.
Okay, cool. All right. So let's just do a bit of a check-in then. So how has it been living on your own in your own pad?
I think I might have said this last week. It does still feel a little Airbnb-ish. I think not. There's something. I think it's because we're doing like quite a lot of redecoration to the space. So I think the more and more we get through it, the more it starts to feel like my own. I've also just been so busy that it's like I've not been able to sit with it just as my space because, you know, obviously I've been very excited. I've been having friends over, like you and Dad have been coming over to help. I was away at the weekend for Hyrox Glasgow, which was so much fun. You know, so it just doesn't feel like
you might need to let people know what Hyrox is.
Oh, that's true. So Hyrox is my latest sort of gym obsession. Well, to be honest, it's been my only real gym obsession type thing. I think it's the only thing that I've consistently wanted to do for a very long time, bar netball from an active perspective. But Hyrox is effectively, it's called a functional fitness race, but that basically means you do a bunch of running and then you do a bunch of weight type exercises. So it's, you know, it takes about between, well, I'm doing it at a doubles at about an hour and a half. I did do a singles in December and passed away and did it in about 2 hours because I wasn't particularly well prepared. But yeah, so it's so it's lots of running, lots of weightlifting type stuff, and it's got various other stations and things like that. But
it's hardcore. I went to watch Amy when she did it in London, and yeah, it looked pretty brutal.
I was crying on the last lap of running. So yeah, that wasn't my best showing, I don't think. But I do it with one of my friends. We do a doubles race, which is where you do it with someone else and you kind of split the load. And that is so much more fun. I think also I'm a team sport girly, so it appeals to the way my brain works a lot better. But I love that it's got me into pushing myself a bit more. It's forced me, not that I've been particularly good at maintaining the running, but it has forced me to run more than I have ever previously, which is good for me. And I think it's done so much for me on a mental level of being like, oh, I can actually push myself. My body is capable of more than my mind will let it do.
Yeah.
Which has been a really fun discovery. And then when you tie it in with a fun little weekend up in Scotland, seeing some Highland cows, having quite a few pints,
Nice.
few margaritas. It's a lot of fun.
Very good. So a week of playing hard and working hard still and trying to get yourself established here.
Yeah, I have a bajillion plates spinning at the moment and I'm feeling quite tired. But like it's tired in a way that I'm very fulfilled, which is nice.
Awesome.
But yeah. And how's your week been?
It's been good. I mean, because we didn't do a check-in in the last episode because it was all about you moving in.
We all got a bit excited and just
was
sort of
like,
like
She's in. So since we did our last check-in, I've actually done 2 legs of the North Downs Way, which is I think 150-mile walk from...
God, I thought you were about to say that I was like, I full well knew you hadn't done 150 miles, but there was a bit of me that was like, she did 150 miles in a day. That's not possible.
No, that's not possible, walking. So it's from Farnham to Canterbury. And there are like 12 different day legs that you can do. So I've done 2 of those and they've been really lovely. It's been really, the weather's been absolutely amazing. I was going to say, you've lucked out
with some of the weather. The weather's been gorgeous.
Yeah, the weather has been great on the days that we chose. And the walks have been really, really nice. So I'm enjoying that very much. One of my passions is to sort of walk around the UK because I've done so much travelling with work. I realise how much I don't really know England and Britain. So I'm trying to do more walking the sort of pilgrims ways and the old ways of moving around the country just to have a bit more of an appreciation of it. So I've really enjoyed that, and work's been busy-ish too. And then when I've had any free time, I've been up here helping you with a paintbrush in hand,
which you've
I have
actually. You this weekend, you were much more up for it than I feel like the weekend before. But then again, I wasn't sort of putting you on skirting boards, so I think that.
No, and each room I can see your personality starting to come through, so it's kind of fun. And we've still got some flat packing to do tonight.
Yes,
haven't we
do. We have the most exciting piece of furniture, a shoe cabinet, where I can store all my shoes, and I'm very excited.
Very good. Well, shall we crack into our topic?
Yes.
And by the way, we would love to get some topics from you guys. So if you are listening to our podcast and you would like Amy and I to chat about something, then please either email us or message us on Instagram. We would love to hear from you, and we're happy to chat about anything.
Yeah.
Well, I think within reason.
Well, yeah. There aren't going to be too many hard lines that we draw, but I'm sure there are some that we'll find along the way.
Maybe you could push us to try and find a line.
Try and find a line.
Yeah, find a line that you and I would feel uncomfortable talking to each other about, because I don't think there are that.
There's not many.
There's not many
things.
So let's talk about dating then.
Yeah.
So where are you with your thoughts about it? Well, you mentioned that you'd gone on a date the other week, hadn't you?
Yeah. I'm in a funny place with dating, to be honest. Like, I think I've been on the last sort of 4 years or so, I've been on quite a journey with dating. When I was at university, I had a relationship end not particularly well, and I had a lot of sorting through to do after that. So I was actually very, very single and not dating for a very, very long time, for a good sort of 2.5, 3 years. You know, I'd done a little bit of going out and having fun, but hadn't actually been on a date for a good 2-3 years. And then started being like, okay, no, I'm feeling ready to push myself and I'll dip my toe. And I really had to force myself to get out there. I mean, you'll remember like truly being so nervous before these dates, and just, you know, and really having to break through the mental barrier of like dating can be fun, and like just because it wasn't fun for a very long time for me. But I'm now at a place where like it feels very chilled, which is nice. And you know, I'm in a really, if you'd asked me 6 months ago, I'd have been like, yeah, I'm ready for a relationship. Like, I'm ready to have something a bit more serious, because I'd called it off with someone because that was actually what I was looking for, and that's not what he was looking for. But actually, fast forward to now, I'm like, my life's busy. I've not got a huge amount of time I've barely got time for myself, my friends and my family, let alone adding someone else into the mix. So I did go on that date the other day and I had a really lovely time, and he was a really lovely guy. But I think I realised I genuinely, as someone who is an introvert and has a finite social battery, I don't have the space for dating or relationships right now, I don't think. So I'm actually in a place where I'm wanting to press pause again, but it's a pause knowing I can unpause really easily. Yeah. Would be my synopsis of where I'm at.
It sounds very healthy.
Thanks, Mum.
Yeah, no, it sounds really healthy that you're not... I always feel like for, I don't know, younger women like you in their 20s, that there's just so much pressure.
Yeah.
that, you know, you ought to be in a relationship or you ought to be dating. And I know I've always been a big advocate of needing to be happy on your own. So I
One
know
of my friends still brings up that conversation. Like, I was having dinner with her the other night and she was like, oh, I remember when you and your mum had this conversation with me about needing to be comfortable by myself. And I'm so pleased that I did that. It's so funny that it's such a seminal moment in our friendship.
Yeah, no, I am a big advocate that you need to sort of, you know, kind of be comfortable in your own skin. And so if you're in a relationship, they're adding to you. You're not missing anything.
Yeah.
And that if you're in a relationship, it's value adding.
It's a bit corporate, wasn't it? What value add does this person bring to my life?
I could tell I'm obviously
How
not
are you increasing shareholder value in my life?
obviously not in a very romantic mood right now, clearly.
But how are you feeling about dating? Because it's been a long time.
Well, I mean, if you think about
Potted history of your dating life.
Well, I did do a little bit. Mm-hmm. I was never wild, but I did do a little bit before I met your dad. And then obviously being in a marriage for a very long time. And then when we separated and then divorced, I haven't seen anyone since then. So it's been years and years. And I'm very comfortable being single. I genuinely don't feel like I'm, craving for anything. I mean, since you've moved out, I've been incredibly busy too. So I haven't really felt an emptiness or a loneliness or a worried about being alone. So I haven't felt the need. But I think if one of the barriers for me as an older woman is being confident. Like, I'm a very confident woman. And I'm very strong and I'm very independent, but body confidence is an Achilles heel for me. And I'm probably carrying more weight than I would like to. And therefore, the thought of sort of being physically attractive to somebody is a real stretch for me. And so I think I've got a little bit of a mental block around wanting to lose weight and then I'll be ready. But I also don't know whether that's an excuse. Yeah. And I'm just telling myself that because it just gives me a get out of jail card, you know, of like not pushing myself out of my comfort zone. So I'm a little bit in that sort of, I'd like to lose weight in order to feel more confident in myself before I put myself out there. The other thing that I just don't have is I don't think I have any really nice photographs. And, like you in your generation, you all know how to pose and to take selfies and all that kind of jazz. I have no Scooby-Doo how to do all of that. And then any photograph I see myself in, I'm like, that's horrible. So I also have a bit of an issue around, that the whole online thing just kind of freaks me out. Yeah. I dipped my toe in the water last year on one app and it was just hideous. I hated every minute of it.
It was also just like, I wasn't a fan. I would have been interested to see what was outside of that app. It was pretty dire.
It was very dire. And I felt really desperate. Dire.
Yeah.
And I'm not desperate. Yeah, no. So it created a whole load of emotions around me that I don't actually feel. So I was like, I'm not sure this is healthy for me. The sense of rejection or being sought after by people that I just would have nothing in common with, and just weird and strange, and just the whole thing was. I mean, I worry about photographs of myself, but seeing some of the photographs on there, they were ropey.
They were really ropey. But I almost want to circle back on some of that stuff, because I think I wonder how much, like, because I would just love you to do it to just have fun. And it
wasn't fun.
No, I know. But I wonder how much of this is like, because like I feel like you never like pictures, and I like a lot of the pictures that you're in, and I think you look lovely, and I think you look beautiful.
Thanks. Don't feel beautiful.
But I think
I think that is my journey.
That's the thing that potentially is at the crux of this journey, right? Because if I listen to what I'm hearing, it's I'm not ready because I'm not ready for others to see me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's the...
Not ready to see me in a romantic way. I'm really happy to be seen in my work.
Yeah.
And it doesn't hold me back in my work. But in a romantic sense...
Do we need to exposure therapy you with like pictures or something? I don't know. I'm not a qualified therapist, but
I don't know. But I think it is. I think I probably also need to do a little bit more personal reflection of like why am I lacking? This is the one area I lack confidence in.
Because you are such a confident person, and I take so much pride and inspiration from the confidence that you hold in everyday life. So I think that's one of the things where it doesn't compute for me that you would not be confident about the way you... Like, because as a woman, I can relate to not feeling like you fit society standards. We are curvaceous women. We have curves, but I think that's, as your daughter, I really struggle with the concept that you might not be confident about something because I see you as such a confident person. So
I think that's my journey, actually. I think that's my journey of, there's a little bit of work I need to do on myself, I think, in order to be ready. But also I know if I was coaching myself, I would be saying there's only so much you can do on your own, and then you have to enter into a relationship to be able to then go the next mile. So I'm going to give myself like 2 or 3 months to lose the weight. And if I don't lose the weight, it's also not an excuse to start.
Sorry, not to go on this rabbit hole, but the weight.
Well,
what is the weight is so ephemeral, right? Like I feel like, and it feels deliberately ambiguous if I was just to poke the bear slightly.
Well, I could say I'd like to lose
X amount.
an X amount I would like to lose, because I know that I don't feel sexy.
Yeah.
I feel flabby. And everything's sort of going south anyway. So there's a whole, there's just a whole thing.
Yeah.
Do you, there was a, I think I said to you, I don't think you watched it, but there was a program that did, I'm going to annoy myself now that I've opened this up and I can't remember the name, but it was there was a series that was on BBC One, and they did like a Barcelona version of it. It was about 2 people, a married couple that split up because they hadn't, the woman had an affair. Anyway, they did a special. I'm sure people that are listening to this from the UK will know what I'm talking about. But at the end of it, she does this beautiful monologue with this man that she finds very attractive. And she was saying, I'm, just so self-conscious of how I look. It's like I'm a saggy sofa, I'm not a taut one, and it was like, and when she was saying that, I just burst into tears, because it was like verbalizing the thing that I have been feeling, which is like, who would want to look at this? So I think I have my own work to do in order to feel confident enough to go out there. But I think what I also need to do is put a deadline on it. Yes. That it can't be my forever excuse.
And I think that's that when I listen to you talk, I don't want you to miss out of life because you've put hurdles in your own way.
Yeah.
Is the best way I think I can verbalize it. Is like, I don't want you to get in your own way from giving something a go and just trying it. But I can totally understand that feeling of, I want to feel good in myself, because if I don't feel good in myself, then how can I expect someone to feel good about me?
Yeah.
Totally get that. But I also don't want you to deny yourself from life experiences.
Yeah, and having some sort of companion.
Fun.
Yeah, having some fun. I know.
It's a fun. Yeah. I'm very big on dating is meant to be fun. Because it's so easy to get caught in the dating for a purpose, and there are lots of people out there who will very successfully and will want to date with a purpose. And when I say with a purpose, I mean like to find a husband, to find someone to have a family with, to find a companion.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with dating with a purpose in mind. I always feel like you should date with with purpose, not necessarily with a purpose.
Yeah, I understand.
If you know what I mean. Like currently,
be intentional about it.
Exactly. And currently my intention is to have fun.
Yeah.
And to enjoy life and, you know, and that kind of thing. And I feel like yours would be a similar intention.
Yeah.
Actually, that's a good question. What would, if you were to...
It would be a high degree of...
What would be your intention?
It would be to find someone that makes me laugh and that I can have some fun with and go on adventures with. It is joy and... I don't know, je la vivre, or what's it? Is
like
it? Yeah, a bit of, like, you know, like I want to feel alive.
Yeah,
that's what I want to do. I want to feel alive, and I want someone that makes me, helps me, brings the best out in me, so that I can feel alive. And I think that's partly as you get older. You know, everything's, you know, not to get morbid.
Well, no, but it's you don't. You have more life behind you than you do ahead of you.
Exactly. And therefore I still want to feel vital, and I still want to
have vitality.
And feel a zest for life. And I'd like someone that makes me feel alive is what I would.
And I think if I was to articulate it, it's like I would love someone who can turn up your brightness. You know, as in like you're a very fully formed and just like love it. But I would love someone to come in and just like be that ray of sunshine for you. Yeah,
which I'm very touched about you saying that, because I don't think I've ever been with anyone that's in a relationship, you know, with anyone that's wanted me to be more than, because I'm quite, you know, I am.
We're both a lot.
We are. Yeah, I mean, I'm not...
In a very good way, but we're both a lot. We're big personalities.
We are.
And we're a lot of women.
And we're very strong, you know, in our opinions, in, you know, our feelings, in, you know, like we've got it all going on.
Yeah.
So but I've never had... I've always felt like people have wanted to sort of dim me a little bit, you know, like I'm too much. And some of that is my own self-talk, you know, like of, you know, if you're full on, then you're just too much. But I would love to find a solid man who is really confident in themselves and they just want you to be a bigger version of yourself. To find that would be a unicorn for me, because I've never experienced any men, even when I come across them at work. You know, there's a lot of take from me in the nature of my job. You know, as I'm very in a very supportive role and a very coaching role, but it's always, I feel like it's always take. I've very rarely experienced the give.
Yeah. Snap.
Oh, really? Is that your experience too?
I think but also I think there's a bit of it of like, I've never really got that serious with very many people to really unpack that. But I think part of that is, you know, you and I had this is actually a conversation you and I did have a while ago, which was one of the dates that I went on a couple of months ago. I was like, I didn't like the fact that I felt completely in control. And it was that thing of like, I felt like, it's a bit of a crass way to say it, but like, I felt like I had more going on.
Yeah.
And I was more in control of who I was as a person. And therefore I was more in control of the interaction.
Yeah.
And I'm just a girl.
Yeah.
I just want to be a girl sometimes. And especially when it comes to romance and dating. Like I am a massive feminist. I'm a big advocate for being independent as women, both financially, emotionally, like all of this kind of stuff. I'm also a hopeless romantic.
Yeah.
I'm an absolute hopeless romantic. And I want to be cared for, and I want to be romanced and wooed. And I mean, you did call me out the other day and being like, you want to be chased. And I was like, yes, I do. But I want to do the chasing as well. It's like, I want there to be some give and take.
Yeah.
And I think that goes back to your thing of like, I don't want it to all be one way.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to do all the taking, and I certainly don't want to be doing all the giving.
Yeah.
What excites me is like a batting back and forth of the energy, and so therefore you need to have a partner that is up for that. And I think, as you say, but this is the thing, I'm confident there are men out there that can do it. Just they might all be in relationships.
Well, that's the problem that I have, because of course everyone's married, that I come across. And so it's incredibly difficult, unless you go on the apps, which are just hideous. And I have only experienced one.
I was going to say,
I'm sure there are probably others that are...
I feel like I'm allowed to talk very glibly about the apps because I've been on so many of them.
Fair.
You've been on one.
That's a fair call out. I'm going to ask you about your experience of them in a minute. But so I don't know where I was going now because you just called me out on the app, which is fine.
So many people are married for you now unless you go on the apps.
Exactly. And then, so I find it more difficult. Talk about, dating in the wild. Have you got your eyes open? Are you seeing people in the coffee shop? And of course I'm looking at people at the coffee shop. And then the first thing I'm doing is looking if they got a ring. Or are they, I don't know, just the giving off. Yeah.
Closed off energy.
Dad vibes.
Right,
It's kind of, so it is quite tricky. Anyway, I will give myself a deadline. And I'm thinking about getting some coaching.
Yeah.
But I haven't yet found the right. There was somebody I thought, and then I've been following them on Instagram for a bit, and now I'm a bit like, I'm not sure.
And like you were naturally, given you are a coach, you have extremely high standards,
I do.
as you should. But like you're not. It's a weird one where like you'll be easy to coach for the right person. For someone who's not particularly developed in their coaching journey, you will be extremely difficult to coach because you'll just be like, I could do this better in my own brain.
Exactly. I'll just leave me alone. I'll do a better job than you are. That will be exactly like that. And I think I'll get frustrated, particularly if I'm giving them money about it. Anyway, let's move on to apps. Yeah, given that you now have professed yourself as having...
I may have come across as if I'm some kind of expert. I certainly am not, but... Yeah, I've been known to be on a dating app or two.
And?
I'm not a fan, frankly. I think for a lot of my generation, they will work really well. I get incredible social anxiety when I'm texting people, let alone when I'm trying to make a first impression on someone online. So like, I just know that dating apps are like, online dating itself is not for me. I'm not particularly comfortable with it. I hate that pressure of like, I've got to be witty and I've got to be funny and like, but like, I'm not a ha-ha jokey person. I'm not like, I can come out with the occasional one-liner, but once we're already in a conversation, and I really struggle with, and I don't know if anyone else feels like this, but I certainly feel like I have to be funny to get attention on dating apps.
Right.
So in order to like actually have a conversation with someone, like at the moment, it's now not good enough just to be decent looking. You have to have personality, which is the right thing. You should also have a personality, but like, yeah, I find dating apps really tricky. I find them very difficult.
You found a new one though, didn't you? That's what you were...
I've loved this new one I found. So I found a new one called Breeze, which is the whole idea is taking online dating offline. So it utilizes that whole finding someone that you might not necessarily find in your everyday life online feature of the swiping and all of that. But when you match, you effectively pay immediately to go on a date with them, and you don't have a chat function until you're actually on your way to your date. And it's been really interesting talking to people my age about that as a concept, because you get one of two reactions. You either get, oh my god, that sounds amazing, I should download it, or you go, isn't that like really weird and creepy? Don't you want to get a sense of someone before you meet up with them? And I've just found that really interesting, of like, literally it's split people 50-50 when I've spoken to them about it.
So, but for you it works.
I love it.
And
I love it. I've been on a few dates now from it. Nothing has really come from it, given the aforementioned conversation of I've just not got time.
Yeah.
But as a concept, I'm 100% going to keep using it, because I know I make better connections with people when I'm in person, and I know I connect better with people when I'm in person. So it plays to my strengths, and equally is the way that I actually want to determine whether I want to see someone again, because I was always very pro get off the dating app as fast as possible.
Yeah.
And typically I was the one that would either hint or directly ask the guy out on the first date, because I was like, I'm not up for this pen pal thing.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk for 2 weeks before we go on a date. That's boring to me. Like, let's meet up in person and actually see if we vibe. So this is perfect. Also, I can literally schedule it like a month in advance. I don't have to worry about it. And then it's like, on Tuesday, I'm meeting up with Joe Blogs.
Yeah, nice.
Which really suits me.
And I guess the other option is you've moved out from a relatively rural location now into being a city. So I'm imagining that will open up.
Once I'm ready, I would love to go on some of the more traditional apps like Bumble and Hinge again in new location, just to see what's around here, because the likelihood is that there will be a lot more young professionals, young people around than there are back where you live. So that's also an option.
So it sounds like we're both in a similar place for different reasons.
Yes.
That timing right now, we've got other things that we want to be putting our energy and focusing our energy on. I guess what's the, for me, if we bring this to a close, what support can I offer you?
To be honest, I think I'm chill right now. If I'm being really honest, I don't actually necessarily think I need too much support. I think I will do when I'm seriously dating someone again for the first time in a while, because that brings up a whole heap of stuff for me. But I think at the moment, whilst I'm in this sort of, and I'm very happy on pause, I think it's more actually keeping me honest to the being on pause, because it's like your ego can sometimes be like, oh well, I'll just swipe and I'll just go on a date and like and you do it for the ego hit rather than because it's the right thing to do. And I think that's what I've realized with these past couple of dates I've been on. I probably shouldn't have been on them.
Yeah.
Because I already knew I was too busy, but I was doing it because I was like, oh my God, this is so great. I can match with people and I can go on dates.
So you get that kind of chemical serotonin, oxytocin kind of.
Look at me, I'm in demand.
Yeah, yeah. They want me.
Exactly, which is just like it's not a healthy place for me to like. It's not like a toxic place, but it's just not. I don't need to be entering into that. And it's not fair on the other person either, fundamentally. So. I think it's more of a keep me honest of I've said I want a pause. And I think it's like once I start having time to go and train again consistently, probably once I've finished redecorating in here and I'm not spending my weekends doing that, once the netball season's over, like my life is just so busy at the moment. Once that's calmed down and I'm starting to make time for things again, I think that's my green light that I can start introducing dating again. And currently I'm not finding enough time to go to the gym as much as I would like to, let alone introduce someone to my life.
Perfect. So it sounds like prioritizing yourself and nesting.
Nesting, indeed. Although I feel like nesting is associated with pregnancy, and I want to be very clear that's not occurring.
Creating your haven, your space that you want.
What about from your side?
I would love you to support me with my weight loss. So
not being like, should we get pizza most times you come over?
So yeah, some of that would be very helpful. I think, yes, supporting me with that, but then also I think I do need to do some more exploration around am I putting up my own barriers, and if I am, why? Like, why am I doing that to myself? What am I scared of? Because I think fundamentally there's probably a fear that sits underneath that. So I think it might be a conversation that we need to come back to. And if you are listening to this and you would like us to do any more detail, or if you're now bored to tears
and be like, shut up about your love lives.
Exactly.
Go back to talking about your careers.
Then let us know, and Amy can then do another round of therapy with me and help me unpack why I'm feeling the way I am. But I think so for now, I think just support me with my weight loss journey, because that does feel like I think I will think more clearly.
Yes.
Once I'm
feeling more
exactly. I think that is and that's not just for dating, that's actually just generally for my health. I think I would like to get back to a weight that I feel more confident in.
That sounds good.
So sounds like a plan. So
It's the middle team.
Team. And I'm very grateful that you and I can talk about this kind of stuff. It matters.
It does.
It matters
it's
to me.
As if chatter matters.
That was a bit cheesy.
That was a bit cheesy.
But it does matter to me that I can talk to you about this and have a safe space that I can chat about this, because it's...
Me too. I mean, I've had some experiences where I think there's been a few times where a conversation with you has helped me get real clarity on decisions that I needed to make, and in one particular case to protect myself, which was really important. So really grateful that we are as open with each other as we are about it. So I think there's an element for me of like, I know I'm in safe hands when I chat through what I'm thinking and who I'm seeing and how I feel and all that kind of stuff, which is good.
Yeah, well, it's my absolute pleasure to do that for you. Alrighty, should we call that a day?
I was just gonna wrap us up with what's on your horizon for the week coming.
Oh my goodness. I'm off to South Africa actually.
You are? Oh my god, yeah.
On Sunday.
That means I'm on dog duty. Christ.
Yeah, you are. So I'm off to South Africa for a week on work, which will be lovely to get out in the sun. I don't know how much sun we'll actually see, but yes, I'm off travelling.
Amazing. Have the best time.
Thank you. And for you?
Mine is a lot of work.
You're busy.
The project I'm working on has got some big deliverables over the next week or so. So obviously we'll be coming back to yours to look after the diggly doggly, which there's a piece of me I'm quite looking forward to that, because it gives me a little bit of a fire break from just constantly feeling in the flat and I've got to do this and then I've got to do that. Whereas if I'm just...
Yeah, you can't. Yeah. Then you get a break from it.
You're getting your bathrooms done at the moment. Will the bathroom people still be there when I'm...
They will, but the main bathroom that you will use will be done.
Oh my God, I can have a bath.
Yeah.
I can have a spa day.
I know, they're going to be gorgeous. I'm so excited about my new bath and my new... Yes, so the bathroom should be done and the ensuite will be being bashed. So unfortunately you will have workmen around you, which is a bit of a...
It is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just deal with it. Okay, fabulous. But yes, lots going on with work. But apart from that, I haven't got, I feel like I'm having a little retreat.
Nice.
Back home, which would be nice.
A retreat in my bathroom. Nice.
Retreat in your bathroom. I know. I can't believe you got the bathrooms done when I moved. Literally 2 weeks after I moved out.
But that was the plan.
I know, but it feels a bit insulting.
Well, you can come back and enjoy them now.
Exactly.
Now they've been done.
Exactly.
All right, lovely girl. Have a good week.
Thank
and
you.
We will catch up.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.